A life well lived, devoured by alcohol. Now, everything's better.
Restoring hope, open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope, open my eyes to see the world through different eyes, revealing your light, restoring hope.
It is the first weekend in July. It's actually the 6th of July, and we thank you for listening on this incredible Sunday of our Independence Weekend. 4th of July weekend, traditionally a part of all Americans' lives, and like no place better than home, fireworks have been going off throughout the weekend, and weather a little touchy here and there, but we thank you for being a part of our ministry and our broadcast on this Sunday. This is Restoring Hope Live, a ministry that helps people deal with life's hurts, habits, and hang-ups. Now, if you think that sounds familiar to a ministry called Celebrate Recovery, it is. The church that I go to is a large Celebrate Recovery ministry, and I thought nothing fit better to talk about the things that impact people's lives better than hurts, habits, and hang-ups. Sometimes we discuss alcohol or drug abuse. Sometimes we talk about food abuse. Sometimes we talk about terrible, horrible subjects like pedophiles and rapists and people who do horrible things to other people. Wherever, Jesus is the center of this ministry. There is no better reconciliation to your past than reaching out to Christ for your future. And you'll find that the programs that we do here at Restoring Hope Live are all centered around Christ. Now, you can find us at restoringhopelive.com. That is our website. You can contact us from there, and we appreciate the time that you put into it. Bob Montserrat, the Cat in the Hat, is in today. We have our special co-host, Father Tattoo, who is are you confirmed? No. Ordained yet?
No.
But you're close.
No, I've still got like 4 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a 5 to 6 year program.
Oh, well. Dan is going through seminary, and I heard his first sermon a few weeks ago, and he
Second.
said, really?
It was my second.
Well, it's the first one I heard.
It's the second one you heard. You heard the other one. You just heard a recording.
Oh,
of
that's
it.
right. I just heard a record. Well, you were so much better the second time.
Well, with time comes.
Did you take lessons? Did you hire a sermon coach or something?
No, you listen to what you did the first time and you make adjustments. And with radio, I've learned to adjust on the fly pretty quickly. So
well, you did good.
So it's just a matter of adjusting on the fly. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Ryan is producing today, and I want to introduce you to Al. Al is a buddy of mine. Al and I have known each other for 1,517 days.
It's a long time.
It is a long time, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But Al is a fellow in a 12-step program with me and has an amazing story, and we wanted to share it with you today. Now, let me help you understand something. This program is really not for the alcoholic. It's not for the drug abuser. It's not for someone who abuses food or children or emotions or sexual identity. It's really for you. It's for the codependent. It's for the father. It's for the mother of a child who is suffering in some of life's hurts, habits, and hang-ups. It is for you, the pastor, who has someone in their congregation which is suffering, and it's just beyond you how to relate to this. Oh, there was a couple classes in seminary, and they taught you about 12-step programs, but this is too close to home. This is a council member. This is a board member. This is someone who helped you plant and build your church. And yes, you always knew there was some drinking going on, but you didn't seem to be bothered by it. You yourself, not a drinker. But now you got the phone call from the spouse or the child, or even worse, from another board member, or maybe even worse, a congregation member who says, I will not stand for someone who maybe just got picked up for DUI. Maybe missed a church function because they were drinking. Maybe made improper physical advances to someone of the opposite or same sex because alcohol was involved. You're not going to like what I'm about to say, but I hope you consume it and breathe it in and out before you make a judgment. It's no different than you. You know, Jesus taught us all sins are the same. Now, depending on what denomination you acquire on a Sunday morning, you may feel there's one worse than the others, but it wouldn't be alcoholism. It might be adultery, depending on your denomination. But we learn in the books of the Bible that in Christ there is no one condemned. Paul writes in the letter to the Romans that we are free. We are free from the burdens of the law, because the law was written because we could not follow it. It wasn't written as a guidepost on what not to do. It was written as a guidepost on what to do, and that was to seek confession, seek repentance, seek the face of God, and Jesus will step in, and you will be forgiven by a grace that you and I had no idea how big or small that might be. If you want to know the grace that God has for the alcoholic, the drug abuser, the food abuser, even those that are sick with deviant sexual lusts, it's the same grace he has for you. It's all sin. If you don't agree with that, I'm okay. I'd like to hear from you. Go to restoringhopelive.com. Drop me an email. Please don't call me names. Be respectful, and I'll be respectful too. But if you disagree with that, I'd love to hear from you. And different denominations feel different ways. Now, Dan, you are you're a Presbyterian.
Yep.
That's where you seek your seminary.
Yeah, it's PCU or PCA, not PCUSA though.
Do the Presbyterians feel that all sins are the same?
Well, I think the Bible is pretty clear that there's sins of different levels, but that the punishment's the same.
Okay.
It separates you from God. So,
that's a good way to put it. Is there any sin that's unforgivable?
the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit,
Okay.
Which I'm still not sure exactly how you do, but
So if a guy goes to his grave doing everything right in the world, that his fruits are wonderful and abundant, but he has no God in his life and takes the time to blaspheme the one that we believe in, the almighty true God, then his works won't get him anywhere, and he'll end up probably separated from God.
well, works generally don't get you anywhere anyway. But yeah, I mean, short answer, yeah. Jesus says that he who blasphemes the name of the Holy, or he who blasphemes the Holy Spirit, will not inherit the kingdom of God. So.
Yeah. All right. Bob, would you disagree with that in your lifelong experience of following Jesus?
No.
No?
Wouldn't
Okay.
disagree.
All right, let's go to our special guest, Al. Al, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks, Mac.
You're a dad,
I'm a dad,
a stepdad,
a stepdad.
a husband.
Correct.
You are a son.
Yes,
You're a brother.
I am.
You're not a sister,
I am not a sister.
but you may have one.
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. Okay.
That's a scary answer. I'm not sure.
And you are, now I'm going to guess, because I think I got this right from when we talked before, but you're 42?
God love you. I am 48.
48, okay. And tell me about your childhood upbringing when it came to emotional stability and alcohol and drug abuse.
You know, I've always been pretty proud about how my family came here to the States. You know, I'm a Filipino American. I'm an American, but my folks came here from the Philippines back in the 60s.
Okay.
And my dad came here to go to graduate school. And then when he got done with graduate school, got a job with the Department of Transportation here in Iowa and just basically did the big American dream. He got done with college, got done with graduate school, found himself a really good job, and raised his children in Iowa.
Great place to raise their kids.
Yeah. So, you know, and we were normal Asian family anyway, according to the Asians anyway. But very, very, very strict. We were raised very strict,
Okay.
you know.
Were you raised in the church?
Methodist Church, yeah.
Methodist
It was
church,
the
okay.
church that brought us here to the States.
Well, they sponsored you.
Yeah, we had a sponsor from the Methodist Church that came from the States, went to the Philippines, asked the Bishop of the Philippines, "Hey, do you know of anybody that is needing some help, any children, and the Bishop of the Philippines happened to have a niece and a nephew who happened to be my dad, and gave the name of my grandmother, and my grandmother became friends with these folks. The Wenger was their last name, and they sponsored us with the food and whatnot. My dad, anyway, back in World War II. And long story short, when my dad decided he wanted to come to the States, they sponsored my dad to come here to the States.
Good. But you weren't born yet.
I was born.
You were born.
I was 3 months old when I came here to the States.
Okay. I was going to ask you a silly question. I was going to say, what was your first memory of the United States? But you probably,
Right.
you wake up. You're 3 months old.
Right, sure.
Now, was your father a drinker?
No. A beer with a dinner or wine or what have you. And my mom was the same way. No.
But no alcoholism.
No, not with my immediate, but on my dad's side, according to my grandmother, she said we had an uncle that Uncle Pedro that was an alcoholic.
And
he died.
Couldn't handle his alcohol.
No,
Died from alcoholism?
Died from it.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
So when was the first time you tasted alcohol?
I was a kid. Dad said, "Here, try this." He put salt in the beer. I was like, yuck. But other than that, that was the first time I ever tasted it. I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was 7, 8 years old.
And you didn't like it, so why would you drink it again?
That's a great question.
Because you did.
I did. If you fast forward until to my freshman year in college, I was working for the Department of Transportation. And I was painting highway lines, and we'd stayed at a town, and every night we'd stayed in a different town. And the people I worked with, they were also college kids. It was a summer job, and they had these Sun Country wine coolers and fuzzy navels, and of course I tried it. It didn't taste like beer. I tried it. It tasted fruity, and then I felt the world spin, and I got sick.
Wow. First time.
It's gross.
Then why'd you do it again?
I joined a fraternity.
Once you drank.
And then there was the medium, the happy medium, where when I drank and I didn't drink to get drunk, or I didn't get drink to get sick, then there was that level of the buzz.
What kind of person were you when you were buzzed?
Oh, I was a social butterfly. I could talk to anybody. Really popular with the girls. Made friends with everybody. Liked to dance. Then I was known as a great dancer, so I would dance with anybody. I was that guy. I was a social butterfly. They could dance, and I was popular.
So you were more outgoing?
Oh yeah, much outgoing.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Did you think you were better looking than you were?
Oh, for sure.
Sure. You could lie better, probably. More convincingly.
Yeah. Because growing up, I was, in my mind, I felt like I was a nerd. I was labeled as a nerd.
Why?
I was in band. I did modern dance. I was a late bloomer. I was a late bloomer
I
growing
was in
up.
band.
Yeah. But I
did modern dance. Are you telling me that I'm a nerd? Is that what you said there,
Actually,
Captain?
I might have coughed that into the microphone.
There you go.
I think I'm still a nerd, probably, but...
I got theater in there, too. Doesn't that make me a freak?
Man, yes.
Well, me too. I was... Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see why you turned to alcoholism.
But I was a jock, too.
Well,
I wasn't.
yeah. Most people that do that don't do the whole gamut, Mac.
Well, when you come from a high school of 9 boys,
you get to do a little bit of everything.
Play 8-man football. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Al's our guest today. We're coming up on our first break. And the question I would ask you is, does this remind you of someone that you know so far? Just a little. Beer didn't taste very good. Ooh, that's sweet. And it really changed me the way I feel when I drink. Wow. This alcohol stuff, it works for me. As we continue with Al's story, we're going to hear how it worked against him, to the point where his life was almost taken. Al's my guest. I'm J. Michael McCoy. If I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. Love this job. Couldn't do it without you. Right here on RestoringHopeLive.com.
trouble now. Save us! Help! Somebody save us! Somebody help! Help! Save us!
Hi, I'm Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of Des Moines. If your credit card's a little too animated, give us a call.
Hooray! We're saved! Consumer Credit! You're our hero!
Yes, now your favorite programs on Webcast One Live can all be watched and listened to on any Android or Apple device. Your phone, tablet, or iPad. Yes, your favorite shows on Webcast One Live are available live or on podcast wherever you go. Let me introduce to you some of our great shows.
Shalom! Every week on Understanding the World with Rabbi David Kaufman, we'll talk about issues in the Middle East, issues related to the Jewish tradition and religious traditions in general, and keep you up to date on exactly what's going on around the world. You may know some of the story, but you haven't heard all of the story until you've heard it on Understanding the World with Rabbi David Kaufman and our special guests we have on every week.
Hey, this is Doc with Doc and Lefty. I want to tell you about our brand new time slot. It's from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. It's on the same night, Tuesdays. We now follow Ed Fallon and the Fallon Forum on webcast1live.com. I want to tell you a little bit about our show. Our show is focused on local, state, and national, and sometimes international politics. We like to keep people updated and informed. We also have very interesting guests. So please join us every Tuesday from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. on webcast1live.com.
So when you want to watch your favorite Webcast One program, remember, there's an app for that. You know, there's an app for that.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Hey, what's wrong? Logan wants Let's Rock Elmo for his birthday, but since Steve lost his job, I don't think we can afford it. What did you do for money last year when you and John were struggling to make ends meet?
My secret? I went to Me and Mommy to Be. We sold all of Megan and Ryan's clothes and toys there. They give back the highest percentage on their items in the area, and it was so easy.
Megan's clothes? She's 15.
Yes, they can sign newborn through trendy teens. We're not struggling now, but I'm gonna keep saving and making money at Me and Mommy to Be.
Restoring hope, open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
Restoring Hope Live on this 4th of July weekend. We thank you for being a part of this broadcast. We come to you each week on the XM Sirius Network and also American Family Radio, 142 radio stations across the land, and our own home affiliate, KTIA, here covering Central Iowa. This will be the last week that Transformations is a sponsor, and we want to thank them. They came alongside us about 8 months ago and have done a wonderful job of partnering up with us, providing significant care for patients that we send their way who are in need of healing from life's hurts, habits, and hang-ups. You can find their phone number right there on our website at restoringhopelive.com. And if you get a chance, just thank them for coming alongside. We can't begin to tell you how many lives have been changed since they came on board, and obviously previous to that. And that's not us, and it's not Transformations. It's not Al. It's not Ryan. It's not any of us. It's God working through us. And when we surrender to that level, then amazing things happen. If you're in a 12-step program, we call them the promises. Because if we are painstaking, the promises will come true. Mm-hmm. Surrender is the key. Now, I'm 55 years old. And, Bob, you're just a little bit older. When you and I grew up, surrender was not a good thing. You know, when you played cops and robbers, when you played cowboys and Indians.
Or you watched war movies.
Yeah. Or you played, what was that, Plant the Flag? Is that the game we used to play or something like that? Capture the Flag?
Yeah.
Surrendering was a terrible deal. But isn't it interesting how the accuser teaches us as a young person that surrender is a bad thing? And in fact, the only way to find yourself at the foot of the cross is to die for yourself.
Right. He doesn't want us to humble ourselves.
Right. The accuser doesn't.
Right. He wants us to be very proud.
And when you talk to anybody, like we're going to talk to Al today about surrendering an addiction, a habit, hurt, or hang up, and reaching out to a power greater than yourselves, we call him Jesus, that without surrender, you won't make it. You have to put it all on the table. We're all born with a hole in the middle of our soul, and it's the God hole. And as human, as a flesh, and as followers of the accuser, we fill it with every single thing we can come up with. Whether it's video games, whether it's lust, whether it's pornography, whether it's greed, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whether it's sexual deviance. We try to fill it. But the problem is, the only thing that can fill that hole, the only round peg in a round hole, is God. And when you're fortunate enough, and Dan can pipe in and agree here, that you are called, you have been pre-chosen to walk through this world with salvation on earth as well as in heaven, the first thing we do is we die to self, we surrender, and we turn ourselves over to the care and will of God as we understand him. Now, you didn't do that quite at freshman or junior in college.
What's that?
Surrender.
Surrender nothing.
I mean, it was pedal to the metal for you.
Oh yeah, I was real popular with, I was drinking and women, and
so the nerd
dancing.
thing was gone, right?
Oh, it was gone. It's like I felt I was day and night. I was able to talk to people.
So even sober, when you hadn't been drinking,
yes,
you had that ism.
And part of it, what I felt was because I had now networked myself as this party guy and was part of a fraternity, so I was part of that group, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah.
And give me one of the first times that you ever realized that, wow, maybe this thing had gone too far, or maybe that wasn't very cool, this drinking thing and what I just did or what I just said.
There's a whole bunch of those things that that
caused you to be embarrassed.
Yeah, that caused me to be embarrassed. But when I knew that there was some type of problem, flunking out of school, I thought it was because I was dumb, not because it couldn't have been alcoholism. It couldn't have been an alcohol.
Out of college?
Yeah.
Okay.
Flunked out of college. It couldn't have been that. But when I had a job selling cars, and when I was drinking every night, didn't have to be the weekend. When I started to drink every night, I kind of I remember reading somewhere, if you do this and you do that, you might have a drinking problem. And I kind of shut that out of my mind. I think I might have been in a doctor's office or something.
Okay.
But I was drinking every night.
To excess?
To drunk.
To drunk, okay.
To drunk, excess. And then, and then the buddy I would drink with, we try to remind ourselves, what did we do? How did we do? Did I hook up with so-and-so? What happened? But I thought it was normal. We both thought it was normal. You go out and have a good time, and that's what you do. But I did it every day. And I started wondering, well, I've got a job. I'm okay.
Yeah.
You're
a competent working man who's taking care of his obligations.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you couldn't have an alcohol problem, because alcoholics, let's whisper this, they live under the bridge.
Under the bridge.
They drink out of brown paper bags.
And they beg. At
they hold up little signs.
Yeah.
Well, can't find work.
Right.
Help. Need mental help. Help.
Couldn't have been me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when was it you?
When it was me, that at least this is what the public said, was when I got a DUI.
Got your first DUI at age what?
1997. So I'm 48 now.
About 25.
Yeah. And then...
No, it took about 29.
And then 7 months after that, another one.
Another one.
You bet. And then going to jail.
How long?
First time was overnight in the Story County Jail. And then the second time, a full week. And then I had to go back to the Story County Jail because I broke a probation. Yeah.
How long were you there for that?
3 days.
So, but wasn't this a badge of honor among your friends, your car dealing, selling friends, your party friends, your put a lamp on your head and have fun?
Oh,
friends?
Yeah. Sure. You know, and I had a cool drink.
What was that?
I had a cool drink. I had a vodka on the rocks, a Stolies on the rocks.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a cool drink. I remember my drinking buddy, would tell me, "I only drink a Jack and Coke. You got a cool drink. I wish I could be cool like you. You talk to all these girls, and you're able to go out and dance. You got a cool drink." And I got in this drink because I'd watched some movie, and this guy, Michael J. Fox, was in it, and he ordered this vodka on the rocks. I went, well, let me try one of those. And it's the most disgusting thing. It's gross. But you know what? That was my drink of choice all the way through, until I surrendered.
How did your drinking impact your family, your parents? I mean, did they know? Maybe they didn't know. Maybe you kept it from them.
My dad would always say something to me.
Okay.
My brother had said something to me.
When you were drunk or when they found out you had been picked up for OWI?
They didn't even know.
Okay.
They didn't even know about that.
Okay.
I held that from them. When I fast forward to living in St. Louis.
How'd you get around after your OWI?
Yeah, especially the second one. Didn't you take out a license?
Yeah, that's right. So the second one, I didn't have a license.
Sure.
All right. Here's how I got the second DUI. I had a girlfriend, and we drank to oblivion. And we were at this bar, and she was stumbling drunk that, she passed out. She couldn't drive, and it was her car. So we drove her car, but she couldn't drive because she was passed out. So between the two of us, I was the quote-unquote sober one. Still didn't have my license. It was taken away from the first one, first DUI. So I got rides, or I drove illegally. But I had thought I beat the system by getting a job at a really popular bar and restaurant in West Des Moines off of 8th Street, and lived a block and a half. So I walked to and from work.
Oh, that works out good.
No, I thought I had the system, and I thought I had the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Free food, free drink, walk back and forth. I think everything was perfect.
But
it
was cracked. It was broken. It was maligned.
Right.
So one DUI didn't do it.
No.
Losing your driver's license didn't do it.
No.
Week in jail didn't do it.
No.
What finally broke?
Well, I moved to St. Louis, and it was to the point when I started getting kicked out of my apartments with an eviction notice.
Mm-hmm.
And when they cut off my electricity, I knew that I had a problem, but I didn't think much. I just didn't think much of it. I thought, well, I'll get by. So as long as I can have my drink, I'll be all right. But then, getting kicked out from one apartment to the other, well, then I got so bad, my drinking got so bad, I was drinking in the morning because I had the shake so bad. Drinking at night.
That's tough.
Drinking all day, that I eventually, fast forward to, I was living out of my car.
So what you're saying is that vision of being under the bridge was coming to pass.
It was coming to pass. But I was living out of a car, so I wasn't that bad. I had air conditioning in the car, but I barely had enough gas in the car.
Couldn't legally drive it.
Well, no.
But he did anyway.
Sure.
Yeah,
Where did you park? I mean, I know you don't have to name a location.
Go ahead.
But just parking lots? Walmarts? Truck stops?
The parking lot in an apartment complex. One of the car dealerships at nighttime. I would park my car way back in the where they would take trade-in cars. So I would be it would look like I had a trade-in.
Mm-hmm. Al is our special guest today. We're hearing his story here on RestoringHopeLive.com. A wonderful son to a. Would you call your father an immigrant then?
Yes.
Are you an immigrant?
But yeah, we both are. Well,
Okay.
we immigrated here, but I'm now, when I was 7, became an American citizen.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just kept bucking the system. Just kept saying, getting drunk and not realizing what I said or did. That isn't bad enough. And one DUI, come on, everybody gets one. And if you don't, you're just lucky. And 2, well, okay, so my badge of honor is bigger than others. My friends will respect me. My peers will say I am the best drinker in the group. And the girls will think I'm just dashingly gorgeous because it doesn't faze me. I'm still Al. I can dance. I can laugh. I can make you laugh. And a couple OWIs and too much alcohol every single day, even the shakes in the morning, by the way, have no impact on me.
But is it true, though, you think that the women are attracted to you when you're under the influence? What is the reality? Are women attracted to
Are you attracted to women when they're drunk?
Well, I'm not around them.
Drunk women are attracted to drunk men. But no, you're right. Most women would not be attracted to a man who had consumed too much alcohol if they themselves were not in that place.
Well, and the reverse is true as well. Guys aren't attracted to drunk girls when they're inebriated.
I don't think so, but
Yeah, I think it's disgusting. They taste funny, and you just don't really want to deal with them.
Dan's sitting in today along with Bob Montser at the Cat in the Hat, Ryan producing. Al's our guest. We'll come back and find out what the bottom really was. Because it wasn't 1 DUI, it wasn't even 2, it wasn't a week in jail, it wasn't losing your license, and it wasn't living in your car under the bridge with a brown paper bag. What's bottom? And then what does Jesus do? Next on Restoring Hope Live.
This is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershad.
I'm administrative manager
I am the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
You know, if we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, you know, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be, it's your home.
You know, it's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're gonna do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's gonna be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're gonna do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed right or it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
I mean, if you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you gonna say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're gonna be listening. They're gonna wanna know what your challenges are. Then they're gonna come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you know, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me, but is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though, I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm gonna take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
restoring hope. Open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
It's 4th of July weekend 2014, and I'm J. Michael McCoy. If you're hearing this on a day other than 4th of July weekend, it means that this is a pre-recorded program, perhaps a podcast that you've downloaded at restoringhopelive.com or our RSS feed. You can subscribe to them, and they'll automatically come to you. More often than not, we are not talking about alcohol or drugs. We're talking about other things. I'm always reminded of the one that we did that was so astonishing. And Joe Mines, who was sitting in at the time, we were talking about the abuse of prescription drugs. And no, we were talking about child pornography. And Joe said, look, Mom, look out for the new kid in town. Remember this? And there was a mother whose husband was in Afghanistan serving our country, and she had found him looking at child pornography. This is like an 11 or 12-year-old boy. And so she thought she'd approach her son and not accuse him or blame him or making him feel guiltful or shameful. She just said, where did you learn how to do this? And he said, well, Tommy, the new kid in town, names are changed to protect the innocent. Tommy showed me. So the mom called Tommy's mom, and kind of a Holy Spirit thing, I think it has to be, because I think if somebody called me and said that my son or daughter was exposing other kids to child pornography, I think I'd flip out. I think I'd very defensive. But Tommy's mom said, well, let me check into it, and I appreciate you calling. So Tommy's mom goes to Tommy, about the same age, new kid in town, says, are you watching child pornography? And Tommy said, yes, I am. Well, where did you learn about this? From Grandpa. So Tommy's mom called her stepsister, who was much older, because Tommy's mom had never lived with Grandpa. Only Tommy's sister's older sister did. Tommy's mother's older sister. And the older sister broke down in tears and said, yeah, that's why Mom divorced him, because he was fiddling, piddling, diddling, abusing me and your stepsisters. And they called the police, and he was arrested, and God stopped 3 generations of child abuse, sexual child abuse. Now, why? Why didn't God stop it before? That's the question I've been asked so many times. Why did it take a national radio show with one guy saying, hey, Mom, look out for the new kid in town? I don't know. There's no amount of time spent reading the scriptures. There's no amount of sermons that can be done. There's no amount of meditation that can be had that you'll ever have half of the answers, a tenth of the answers of why God does what he does. But one day, through Jesus' salvation, we'll know. We'll sit at the right hand of the Father with our brother in arms, Jesus, and we'll see things so much differently and so much better. But at this point, we don't know. Now, were you raised in a church at all?
Methodist
Al?
church, yeah.
Okay, so
every Sunday.
You must have known that drunkenness was a sin, wasn't something you should be doing. Or did they teach you that? Did you learn that? You know, so many churches ignore the facts that 10 to 20% of their congregation sitting in any given Sunday is an alcoholic.
No, they never mentioned anything of that sort, you know, as far as, at least to my recollection. But I just, you know, I thought it was normal growing up, you know, had a normal upbringing in my mind. With, you know, through the church. We went to church every Sunday. Every Wednesday we had youth group, and my dad sang in the choir. So it was a very big part of my upbringing.
Would you say that you had a personal relationship with Christ while you were drinking and carousing and doing what you were doing?
I think I had a relationship, and I felt that he was upset with me.
Sure, that vengeful, angry God. You know, that God that lives long before Jesus ever hit the earth.
Yeah.
So tell me what the bottom was. Tell me the moment, the time, the day, the week, the hour, the minute, the month, the year where Al said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I mean, did you get nailed or did it just come to you?
Well, it was fast. It was over a course of just a couple 2-3 years, just one after the other. Where I would, in order to be around people, I would have a drink in the morning because of the shakes, and then I'd have a pint in my pocket, and there'd always be booze in the car. And next thing I know, I'm drinking all the time. I couldn't get enough alcohol in me. It was all day long. And then after being in St. Louis for 11 years, I just up and left and moved back home, and then lived with my parents and kept drinking a bunch. And then it was around Thanksgiving of 2008 that I knew I was drinking too much because I was cramping up. I felt cramping up, or I could. I had the dry heaves, and I would be cramped up for my whole body would be for days on end, as I was binge drinking. I was drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking, and it kept going, and then all the way till New Year's Eve of 2008.
And what happened then?
Well, the cramping got so bad. I was working, and I'm still there. I was working in a restaurant, serving, and my parents had asked to see if I would take care of them that night.
Okay.
And so they showed up that night, New Year's Eve, and I was in no position to serve because I was cramping, and then I was in the employee bathroom, and I was grasping my heart. I felt like I was having a heart attack.
Anxiety? Don't know?
Don't know what it was. I started sweating. I started...
But to the best of your knowledge, you didn't have a heart attack.
No. But it felt like it, because, and maybe I did. I didn't ever had it checked out. But I felt like I was passing out, and I remember having that prayer, having that talk with God, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror going, I cannot believe I am going to die in the employee bathroom at this age. Meanwhile, my parents are expecting me to wait on them.
Everybody else had to know, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so. I think my dad knew I had a problem. He always said something to me.
Yeah.
But I never did anything about it. I just think...
Was mom in denial?
Well, my stepmom kind of helped me after I reached the bottom. She actually helped me get to my first AA meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you didn't go through treatment?
When I had the first DUIs, I was forced to.
Okay. But you didn't take it seriously. You were on paper. You had him sign the paper so the judge would know you were a good boy.
Right. As a matter of fact, I was drunk. I was drunk the night before I went to yeah.
What was the date of your first 12-step meeting?
January 6th.
January 6th. So what's your sobriety date?
That was my sobriety date.
So your sobriety date is the day.
Oh, my first step meeting or my first AA meeting?
Yeah.
My first AA meeting was January 6th.
Okay. And
2009.
And that's your sobriety date.
That's it.
Okay. All right, we're going to take our last break, and we come back. What Al's life is like now, and what it was that changed within these walls of this 12-step meeting. What it is within the surrendering to a God of our understanding. What it is to take a moral inventory, a fearless and moral inventory. What does that mean? It means you stand before your God and you make amends. And you realize what part of the role you played in all the interferences, all the terrible things that happened. And no more finger pointing. No more, it wasn't my fault. If mom and dad hadn't done this, if I hadn't lost this job, if the cop hadn't pulled me over, I would be all right. And then you get to the point where you go, no, denial is also a river in Egypt, and it is the way my brain thinks. Al's story, it's a great ending. It's coming up next. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Thanks for listening to RestoringHopeLive.com.
mean old credit card. We don't have any more money. We're in trouble now. Save us! Help! Somebody save us! Somebody help! Help! Save us!
Hi, I'm Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of Des Moines. If your credit card's a little too animated, give us a call.
Hooray! We're saved! Consumer Credit, you're our hero!
Metro Ford's on everywhere. Metro Ford's on everywhere.
See 'em here, see 'em there. You got bad credit? We don't care.
Metro Ford's on everywhere. Metro Ford's on everywhere.
Visit emetroford.com for your guaranteed credit approval. Good credit, bad credit, no credit. Everybody drives with guaranteed credit approval at emetroford.com.
Metro Ford's on everywhere.
Visit emetroford.com today.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
If Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition, there really is none for Consumer Credit of America.
Restoring hope, open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
It is 4th of July weekend in God's year of 2014. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and this is RestoringHopeLive.com. First time you heard the program? Something maybe ring true? Something get a little close to home? Maybe it's not you. Could be your daughter or your son, your husband, your wife, your parent, your pastor, your neighbor, your friend. 20% of people, 20% of regular people have alcoholic tendencies. 57% of all people who drink are alcoholics. Isn't that amazing? Half of the people that'll drink a drink today or tomorrow or this weekend are alcoholics. Now, Bob, I'm really blessed to have you on the Restoring Hope Live team. You and I have known each other for a long time and done Jesus-based shows for a long time, but a lot of people don't know you are a forensic scientist by trade, 35 years. And you're one of the most sought-after experts to give your testimony at trials when alcohol's involved. You must have seen so much destruction because of alcohol. If you had your way, would we ban it? Would we make it illegal? Would we put an attempt that we did in the 20s and say that's it, no more?
Well, under the best circumstances, that would be great. But I realize that would never happen.
You know how easy it is to brew beer? I mean,
Yeah, I know.
How are you going to ban that? I mean,
Well, it's just that when in my work, I get a bunch of cases and I see what the crimes are. I mean, vehicle by death, homicide, rape, you name it. And I have all of these to test, the blood or urine or whatever the case is. And so it's involved with all kinds of crime and abuse of people. That's the huge thing.
Yeah.
And all crime, I shouldn't say all, but most crimes revolve around alcohol and other drugs.
Now, see, Al, when we hear that, don't you feel a little special? Because you didn't have crime with yours.
No.
I didn't have crime with mine. No. I mean, if you want to say an OWI is a crime, I'm okay. I'm not arguing that.
Right.
But that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about robbery, murder, rape, assault.
Sure, but
Violent crime. Violent crime.
Violent crime.
But you can also talk about the people that surround you and how you hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you may not hurt them physically, but you can hurt them mentally.
Yep.
You can treat them, very badly.
Yeah, and for those of you who are not familiar with the 12-step program, that's covered in the 12-step program. there is a point where we get to the 8th, 9th, and 10th step that we bring those to the top. We allow the cream to rise to the top. And we look at those instances we've hurt people. And a good 12-step program brings you through that. And when you're all the way through it and you get to that 12th step, life's different, isn't it?
Oh, man.
Tell me what your life is like now, because you're living under the bridge, you're living in your car, you're jumping from job to job, you're incapable of even doing your job because you're drinking 24 hours a day now.
That's right.
What's your life like now?
Oh, it always gets me every time I try to tell the story. I have such a blessed life right now. I could have never imagined a life like I have now. I have a wife, and I have two stepdaughters, Lily and Taylor.
Okay.
And then we have a daughter between my wife and myself, named Emma. We own our house. We own a house. We bought a house a couple years ago. Yeah. I still work in the restaurant, but I also I own two businesses, which I could have never. I had fantasized that I would own a business, but I never dreamed I would ever own a business. Yeah. So and you know the impact that I'm able to also help share with other alcoholics or recovering alcoholics. It's amazing being able to give the gift back.
Yeah, and if you know somebody who has stopped drinking alcohol and they're not in a 12-step program or any other type of program, they said that they could do it on their own, they may be able to. We're not arguing that. But what those people usually don't do is they don't step out of themselves to help somebody else. And after all, the Bible teaches us time after time after time again to reach out and serve. Honor God, follow Jesus, and serve others, a servant's heart. And so I beg of you, I literally beg of you, if you've got sobriety under your belt, maybe you don't want to get involved in the rooms of a 12-step program, that's okay. But do that 12-step, dude. Get out there and find other people who suffer from the same thing you do and help them. Help them. Because the help we give is really the blessing we receive.
We receive the blessing.
Yeah, we really get that back. So you've got a family now, you've got businesses, you've got 4 year, almost 5 years sobriety.
Over 5 years.
Over five,
yeah,
sure, I'm sorry. You're about a year ahead of me.
And in that short amount of time, so many things that take people a lifetime. I did it. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. The good Lord did it. It was His vision.
You know, we had a 12-step meeting today at noon, and a young lady who you'd be familiar with. You weren't at the meeting, but you'd be familiar with. 7 years sobriety. 2 weeks ago, stepped out.
Oh,
nothing disastrous happened. She didn't hit a bottom in her life, but she had stopped going to meetings. She was spending time with her family. She thought she could handle it. She thought everything would be okay. And her husband, who also had about the same amount of sobriety, said, listen, if you drink, I'll drink. We'll do this together. Maybe we can make it. Because that's what the accuser does. He fools us into thinking that we've grown past the addiction, the disease, the hurt, the habit, the hang-up. And it took her 48 hours to get right back into the rhythm of what she'd been drinking for. And this is a mother, this is a professional woman, mother of two. This is not a crack addict living under the, this is your daughter, my daughter, your daughter, all of our daughters, our sisters, our mothers. That's what this disease can do. So what would you offer to a woman out there listening, to a man out there listening, to a man like yourself who has great capacity to love and to help, who hides in the bottle and in the basket and in the bag?
If you think that you might even have a problem, I encourage you to reach out, to come or go to an AA meeting, to talk to your pastor and share your problem, because there's help out there and there's promise, and the Lord asks of you.
Yeah. And whatever city you live in, if you live in Cleveland, just Google Alcoholics Anonymous Cleveland or 12-step program Dayton, and they'll lead you to meetings. And everybody has their first meeting. Everybody has their first meeting, so don't feel bad. The second one, it's a little easier, and after a while, you'll want to go. You'll want to help yourself. You want to save yourself.
One day at a time.
Al, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mac.
Bob, thank you for being here. Dan, thanks for sitting in. Ryan, thanks for producing. I'm J. Michael McCoy. You can always reach me live and in person at restoringhopelive.com. And we thank you for taking your time to be a part of our time on this 4th of July weekend in God's year 2014. Today, do me one favor, would you? Think of somebody that you don't like, you have a resentment against, that you spend a lot of time hating them. This weekend, drop to your knees and forgive them as God will forgive you. Have a great weekend.